Hello viewers, myself Prasmita Jena, lecturer in Computer Science. Welcome to our digital class of UN Autonomous College. Today I am going to discuss on transaction processing concept. Okay, so let's have a discuss. So today we will discuss introduction to transaction processing, transaction and the system concept. First, introduction part. In introduction to transaction processing, we have to discuss what is single user system, what is multi-user system, what do you mean by concurrency, what is transaction and what is the boundaries of the transaction. In case of single user system, it means at most one user at a time can use the system. Okay, at most one user can use the system. That means what? If there is one CPU exists and there is number of processes are to be execute simultaneously, or at most we can execute, at most the system can execute one process at a time. That is called as the single user system. Then second one is a multi-user system. That means many users can access the system concurrently. That means if you have one system for process the different program or processes, then in multi-user system the number of user can access the system concurrently, or we can say simultaneously. Okay, so next we will define concurrency. Concurrency means what? In concurrency there is 2 points. One is interleaved process, one is parallel process. In case of interleaved process, that means we have only one CPU and there are more than one process or program to be executed. In that case, what happen? This is the concept of multi-programming operating system. In multi-programming operating system, it executes some command from one process, then suspend that process and execute some commands from the next process and so on. In multi-programming, the processor executes some program from one process and that process is suspended, then again the processor execute some command from other process, then again that process may suspended, and in later time the process will resume at the point where it left the process. Okay, and this process is called as the interleaved fashion. That means we can say the process is resumed at a point where it was suspended whenever it gets its turn to use the CPU again. Hence the concurrent execution of process is actually interleaved. Okay, then comes to parallel processing. Parallel processing means we have multiple CPU. In case of interleaved processing, we have single CPU. In case of parallel processing, we have multiple CPU. In parallel processing, as we have multiple CPU, so the number of processes simultaneously execute in number of CPU. Okay, so the difference between interleave and parallel processing is that in case of interleaving processing, we have one CPU, but there is more than one process to be executed in an interleaving fashion. But in case of parallel processing, we have multiple number of CPU, and in that case the multiple number of process can execute simultaneously. Okay. So next point is what is transaction, or what a transaction is. A transaction is a logical unit of database processing that include one or more access operations. That means that may be a read operation or that may be a write operation. Read operation means when we are performing a read operation on transaction, it means what? We retrieve some data from the database. Okay, and write operation means we performing write operation on a database, and that transaction write operation means we have to insert some data to the database, or we may update the existing data in the database, or we may delete the existing data from the database. These three operations are the write operations or the transaction write operation over database, and retrieval operation is the read operation or read transaction over the database system. So transaction is what? Let's define me. a transaction may be standalone specified in a high level language like SQL, submitted interactively, or may be embedded within a program. That means by using some high level query language, that may be a SQL language, which is used to interact with the database system through its commands. Okay. Next is a transaction boundary. That means every transaction has a boundary, that is the begin and end transaction. Begin means it is the start of the transaction, end means it is the end of the transactions. Okay. And we can also use some application programs. That application program may contain several transactions separated by the begin and end transaction boundaries, and by using this application program we may interact with the database system. So next we will discuss what are the basic operations in the transaction processing system. We have two basic operations in transaction processing system, that is read operation and write operation. Okay. As we already discussed about read and write transaction in database system, read means we have to retrieve some data from the transaction, write means we have to perform the insert, delete and update operations over the database system. So read operation means read item X. It means what? Read a database item named X, that means X with a database item which has to be read into the program variable. That means the item is present in the database and we have to read that item to our program variable. And to simplify our notations, we assume a program variable is also named as X. That means we have the database item named as X and the program variable is also named as X. And read item X means we have to read the database item X to the program variable X, and we will discuss in next briefly. Then next comes to the write item X. Write item X means write the value of program variable. That means we have to write the program variable value X into the database item named as X. That means read means we have to retrieve data from the database. Write means we have to insert some data to the database system. Next, the brief idea about the read and write operations. Actually, read and write operation means the basic unit of data transferred from disk to computer main memory is one block. That means actually what happened, the data are actually stored in the block. The database data are stored in the disk block and we have to retrieve this data from the disk block to main memory buffer, and in the same process we have to write the data from main memory buffer to the database system, and these two processes are called as the read write operation of the transaction in the database system. So these are the steps of the read item X and write item X. In case of read item X, what happened? In case of read item X, the commands are include following steps. These are the three steps how we can read a data from a database to the program variable. The first point, first we have to find the address of the disk block that contain item X. That means the database data is stored in a disk block. First we have to find that address of disk block where the database data item are stored. Copy the disk block into the buffer in main memory. Then we have to copy that disk block's address to the main memory. If the disk block is not already in some main memory buffer, if the disk block is not present in the main memory buffer, then you can copy that disk block address to the main memory buffer. Then after that, copy the item X. That means this is the item X is the program variable X. Copy the item X from the buffer to the program variable named X. That means what? This is the database item X and we have to copy this item X to main memory buffer which is already stored in the main memory buffer, and from main memory buffer to the program variable we have to copy the database item. Okay, and this process is called as the read item X. Okay, then comes to write item X. In case of write item X, these are the following points through which we can write a data to the database. The first step, find the address of the disk block that contain item X. Okay, that means we have to find the DIGSBlock address where we have to store the data. That means this is the item X of the database, and in this location we have to store our insert data. So first find the address of the DIGSBlock that contain item X. Okay, then copy that DIGSBlock into buffer into main memory. First we have to find out where we have to store, then copy that address and store into the main memory buffer. Okay, then after storing the DIGSBlock in main memory buffer, then copy item X from the program variable named X into the correct location in the buffer. Then next we have to copy the data or item X from the program variable named as X and store that item into the main memory buffer block, which is to be retrieved from the DIGSBlock. Okay, and then last step, store the update block into the buffer back to the disk. That means those data which are stored in the main memory, or those buffer data or those blocks stored in the main memory buffer, then we have to update that block from the buffer and back to the disk. Okay, so in this way we have to write a program variable data to the DIGSBlock where the database want to store the data. So this is the details about the read item X, how we can read the data from the database system or from the DIGSBlock to our program variable, that is called as the read item X. And next, how we can write a data from a program variable to our DIGSBlock, or when we want to store data from a program variable to database, that operation is called as the write operation. So this is all about your read and write operation in database system. So next we will see, this is the one example or two sample transaction, how actually the transaction are executed or how the read write operations are actually executed. You can see here there are two transactions T1 and T2. These are the two sample of the transaction. In transaction T1, first we have to read item X. That means this item is stored in the DIGSBlock and we have to read the value of this item X, and we will perform some operations here. Here suppose the X value is 10, okay, and here I am subtracting a particular value n from 10, and after executing this statement we have to write this value X. That means here read item X means we have to read the value of item X from DIGSBlock to program variable, and here write item X means here I am updating the value of X, and after updating I am executing a write item X. That means the write item X means here the program variable is write the value of X to the DIGSBlock. That means when I am executing write item X, it will update the value of the variable X into the database. Next, exactly in the same process, if I have another variable, suppose Y, read item Y means here I am retrieving the value of Y from the database system, and here I am performing some update operations, and after performing some update operations, here I am executing another operation, that is write item. Write item means those operations here, the operation which I have been done here, that should be permanently updated in the database system. That's why after updating the value of Y, I am executing a write item Y. It means what? It write the value of Y into the database system. Okay. In the same process, there is another transaction, that is T2, and read item X means here I am reading the value of database item value X from the database from the DIGSBlock, and here I am performing some update operation, that is X equals to X plus M, and for updating in the database I am again executing write item X. That means I have to write the program variable X to the database or to the data block. So this is the example of two transactions, how the read and write operations are executed. Okay. So next we will discuss why concurrency control is needed. As we already discussed on concurrency, and this is the point why we need the concurrency control. because of some problems arises in the concurrency controls. So these problems are the lost of update problems, the temporary update problems, and incorrect summary problem. We need the concurrent execution is uncontrolled. Okay. So as due to this problem, we see that there is some problem or concurrency execution is uncontrolled. Okay, and that's why we need the concurrency control is needed. And what are the problems those are arise in concurrent execution? Let's see. The first problem is your lost update problem. Okay, lost update problem means this occur when two transactions that access same database item have their operations interleaved in a way that makes the value of some database item incorrect. Okay, that means what you can see here, two transactions T1 and T2. In case of T1, you can see here T1 read item X. Suppose here I am reading the value of X. Suppose value of X is 10, and after that I am executing some operations on this item X, that is X equals to X minus N. Suppose N is 2. So 10 minus 2 means that is 8. That means in this variable, in this program variable, the value of X is 8. Okay. But here you can see here there is a interleaving between T1 and T2. That means at this time the processor suspend the transaction T1 and that processor is assigned to T2. But you notice that here the value of X does not write to the database. That's why when the transaction T2 execute read item X, it doesn't read the update value of X, it read the old value of X, that is 10. So it may create some error, and that is called as the lost of update problem. As this was not updated, that means as here the write operation is not executed, is not updated, that's why T2 read a incorrect value for X, that is the old value of X instead of update value of X. This is the problem, that is the lost of update problem is arises in case of concurrent execution. Okay. So the next problem is the temporary update or data read problem. The temporary update or data read problem is what? This occur when one transaction update a database item and then the transaction fail for some reason. That means you can see in the previous slide we have to see there is no write operation. That's why the lost of update problem is arises. But in this case here read item X is executed and X equals to X minus N. Suppose X having value 10 and N having value 2. That means after executing this statement, the variable X containing 8 and here I am executing the write operation, that is write item X. So you can say there is no problem. But the temporary update problem means the database if when one transaction update database item and the transaction fail for some reason, due to any reason the transaction is fail after executing this X equals to X minus N. The reason may be power failure, the reason may be whatever, but this statement is before executing this statement the transaction is failed. That's why when this was suspended, the T1 is suspended by the process and assigned to T2. Again T2 read the incorrect value of X, that is the old value of X, that is 10. So this type of problem is called as the temporary update problem. That means due to transaction failure, that is a temporary problem. The T2 read the incorrect value. So this problem may arise in case of concurrent execution. Okay. So next problem in the concurrent execution is the incorrect summary problem. Incorrect summary problem means if one transaction is calculating aggregate summary function on a number of records while other transactions are updating some of these records, the aggregate function may calculate some value before they are updated and other after they are updated. You can see here this T3 calculating summary of a variable, that is AX like this. But here you can see this T1 is updating that variable. That means here the T1 updating variable X and here T1 updating variable Y. The incorrect summary problem means what? That means this will arise while other transaction updating some of these record and the aggregate function may calculating some value before they are updating and others. You can see in this here T1 initialize a variable sum equals to 0 and read item x and sum equals to sum plus a, and in this way it is calculating the aggregate summary. Okay, calculate the aggregate value. So you can see T1 is calculating summary and T2 is updating. In some time what happen, in some time the aggregate function may calculate some value before they are update and other after they are update. When this T2 updating, it may take the value before updating or it may take the value after updating. So due to this reason it may return the incorrect aggregate value. Okay, that means T3 reads x after n is subtract and reads y before n is added. So a wrong summary is a result. Okay, so this is the problems may arises in the concurrent execution. That's why we need the control of the concurrency execution. Okay, these are the problems, that is lost of update problem, temporary transaction problem, temporary transaction update problem, and last one is your incorrect summary problems. Okay, so these are the problems arises during concurrent execution. That's why we need to control the concurrency execution during the transaction. Thank you. Have a nice day.